Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're continuing with Saturnastra. This is chapter 3. These read the Dragon Slayers. Date year 3 months to day 30, 10 a.m. A week after the incident, the townspeople had finished looking through the ruined manor, and about 378 men, women, and children had died in the fire. The mayor and his family did not survive, and among the things they had managed to salvage were the coins from the dead. And the new mayor, a distant cousin, took charge. The mayor, Gabran, was a middle-aged, sensible sort of man, and despite being 35, his head was already bald. And his main characteristic was his simple mindedness and ignorance of the world. And unlike the former mayor, Gabran had been a farmer all his life, and he never so much as learned to read, nor had he ever traveled further than 5 miles from his hometown. And when his cousin died, he became the mayor because no other man wanted to pursue the arduous task of reconstruction. And after his little son counted the capital, Gabran decided it would be easier to hire someone to slay the dragon than to do it themselves. And Gabran realized that Figaro's lack of experience with us being had brought doom to their town, and he was resolved not to make the same mistake again. No new attacks had occurred during the week, and still a cloud of doom and gloom hung over the village. And a new party was assembled to travel to Veragheron to hire some berserker mercenaries to handle the dragon problem, though they might be a bit more expensive than the typical dragon's bane, and the mayor felt they needed professional help. And the party took 2 months to return with their promised mercenaries, and while there, they also took care of the irregularities in the bank accounts caused by the sudden death of the account holders. During that time, no new attacks occurred, and some of the citizens began to wonder if hiring mercenary was the right course of action. These people reasoned that since Flaminka had gotten her revenge, she had not bothered to the town again, and still those who lost family members and friends wanted revenge. And the slaves which arrived this morning were not what the villagers had expected, and the monthly crew which arrived was led by the beautiful nymphs, and the nymph wore no armor, and instead she sported a loose Greekish pink dress with a golden sash around her waist, and the sash was held by tiny bottles. And the dress had left her shoulders and arm exposed, and the skirt was only knee-length, and her hair was long and curly red. And she rode her bay horse of black mane without any reins or saddle. And being a natural-born leader, she rode ahead of the entire group, and her name was Undine, and she was a poisoner of sorts. And her eye color would change depending on her mood, and since she was itching for a battle, her eye color was red. Behind her followed her fine henchmen, followed by their clients, and the townspeople looked at her and her follower with a high degree of skepticism. The first 2 who rode behind her were barely entering their teens, and one was Puck, a blonde little knave, 15 years of age, and the other one was Bismarck, age 14, named after a place that his father had read in a bookmark once. And both were excellent sharpshooters and trackers, and when it came to the dragon slaying, they had an excellent track record, and Puck had defeated 15 silver dragons, 10 pudgy dragons, and 5 emerald dragons, and assisted in 180 kills, and Bismarck had slain 5 silver dragons, 19 ruby dragons, and assisted in the capture of 4 other dragons. And both were something that resembled the plain leather armors along with a red coat. And the armors were made of skin scales of an alabaster dragon, and unlike armor scales that naturally fell off, skin scales had to be ripped from the carcass of a newly slain dragon. Their coats were made of the mane of a ruby dragon, and their bows and arrows were made of dragon bows and fangs. The 2 who followed behind were slightly older, though more fair-looking than the nymph herself, and they wore pitch-black robes and clawish black gloves and death masks of comedy and tragedy. And these had not been their original masks, and the pair had changed the design thanks to a reasoning of a strange pale maiden that they had met during their journey, and the one with the comedy mask was Malabar, and his tragic friend was Lucinda, and both dressed in such attire since they were dark elves, and when their skin was exposed to any light, they would undergo a horrible metamorphosis. And the pair had been brought by Bersame as house slaves, and when they lost their light and stopped being pretty, Bersame transferred them over to his wire division, and thanks to their service they had won their freedom, and for the townspeople they seemed like the most legit. And many imagined that the pair could cast magic due to their dark robes. The last hunter was a short Dwarven woman wearing a strange cemented plate armor, And the segments of the army were arranged as to fit a variety of dragon scales of different shapes and sizes, and when it was hollowed out, it seemed like an armor with a lot of strange pattern, and beneath her helmet one could discern her satirical smile and blood-red eyes and curly red hair. And tied to the saddle was a large bodice which weighed as much as her, and her name was Arminda, which in Latin meant little armed one, and she was named by Bersame, who was her adopted father, and this gave her a great prominence in the army. And naturally none of the townsfolk knew all these interesting facts about the people they had hired, and the first person to greet them was the Mayor Gabran, and he gave them the strangest and unenthusiastic salute, and Undine stopped her horse before the man and returned the salute. And she jumped off with the swift elegance akin to her kin, and she gave the usual martial salute akin to the berserkers, and then amused herself while her eyes still glowed red. So where is this dragon you want us to hunt? It was the custom of the region. Mayor Gabran ignored her completely, and he went past her and addressed tragic Lucinda. Are you men the dragon slayer? No, said Lucinda, and Gabran frowned when he heard a female voice behind the mask, and then he spoke to the dwarf and was equally disappointed to hear another woman's voice. And already used to sympathize, Undine took Gabran's rudeness with some levity. However, deep down she wanted to slay her patron, and for that reason her eyes changed color from red to pitch black. And Gabran felt a bit unnerved when he saw Undine eyeing him with her black eyes, and she stroked lovingly the mane of her horse as she led it to the farm. Gabran then spoke to his son Nemo, age 25. Are these women and their kids really the dragon slayers? Yes, confirmed Nemo. And Gabran glanced at the strange group and then asked, Are you certain? Are you absolutely certain? Dad, don't be rude. We pay good money for them, he said. Not desiring to argue in front of strangers, Gabran made arrangements to have their guests stay in his house, and Gabran lived in a 2-4-story house made of wood, and he had built it from the ground up, and after moving his family around, he managed to reserve for the strange growth tree bed for them to sleep in. Undine was not amused by the mediocre lodgings, and in the end she decided to go sleep in the forest with her horse, and the Mancels had nocturnal habits, so they slept from late morning till dusk. And his convenient arrangement made it so that each hunter did not have to share a bed while they went about their business. As per the original arrangement, Gabran spent his time arguing with his son inside his study, and again Gabran would ask, Are you certain that these people really slay dragons? Yes, I am certain. Prince Mardu was the one who suggested them to me, said Nemo, warming his hand near the fire. Again with that Mardu character, don't you find it odd that this is the second time he has lent our village aid, said Gabran, passing his hand over his bald head. And each time he did, he would lose one or two of his black curls. It's not the same Mardu from before, and I think that's just a popular berserker name, and this one had black hair and black eyes. And he was playing inside the castle courtyard with one of the elders, and if I remember correctly, this Mardu would stutter when he spoke. Father explained Nemo. By your teacher, you fool, taking advice from a child, exclaimed Gabran in exasperation. The dragon could attack at any minute, and you waste your money on these charlatans. Watch what you say, Father. Charlatans or not, they are still berserkers, and don't forget, all berserkers have anger problems, and an angry berserker is a dangerous one, warned Nemo. Pah! Armed or not, there are only 2 young men and 4 women, snapped Gabran, rising from his chair. And at that point, Carmen Malabar kicked the door open and said in a soft, hissing voice, Quiet down, my wife is trying to sleep. And seeing them startled, Malabar smiled, and like Undine, his desire to slay his patron was growing by the minute, and despite being an elf, Malabar had berserker blood running through his veins. Alright, so then that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.